Hi guys, this is Frenchie and welcome to a beginner tip taught by a pro. Obviously, the pro is me. So today we're going to talk about HDR wheels. Lately, I had many conversations with my fellow colorists that were not really using HDR wheels because they were preferring using the color picker, the qualifier, with the curves to handle their highlights and handle their shadows. The technique is fine, but I feel that you can go way beyond with the HDR wheels. I'm gonna explain myself. HDR wheels are like the log wheels but under steroids. So you can affect the blacks, the darks, the shadows, the lights, the highlights, and the specular lights over your image. Also, in the HDR wheels, you have a tool that is a global tool that will handle the exposure of your gamma curve. So why I really love this wheel is because you have sections of the darkest part of the image and the lightest part of the image. So which is bringing you more control over your image because you can really finesse your grade with these sections. What is very interesting actually with the HDR wheels is also that you can change the range, change the saturation, and change the exposure of this range. So before we jump to the tutorial, I would like to say thank you guys for following the channel. We reached 1,000 subscribers already. It's like a big milestone for me because I would have never thought that actually my advice would help so many people. So I'm really grateful for this. I'm really grateful. Then it motivates me to make more projects and make more videos and try to bring something to the table over this grading YouTube space. So I'm pretty excited for the future and thank you guys for following the channel. Also, if you're watching the video and you are not subscribed to the channel, just click on the button down below. The community is very nice with each other. I'm having fun hanging out with you guys on the comment section. So thank you guys so much for this. I leave you with the tutorial. See you. Okay guys, here we are in our timeline. I'm very excited to show you the HDR Wheels tool because actually this is a tool that I always use in my project. It helped me a lot to handle my highlights and handle my shadows. I'm just gonna show you what's the effect of an HDR Wheels on a grayscale ramp. So we go to our grayscale ramp and you can see on our graph, the grayscale ramp is showing us the curve that the gamma is following. We're just gonna go to our HDR and we're gonna just do this tiny experience. So we have our waveform here. We're gonna see the effect of the black, the dark, the shadows, the light, the highlights, and the specular light. I'm gonna ask you to watch the grayscale ramp, but also to watch what's the effect on the scopes. Right? So if I go up with my blacks, if you see, the blacks, the real point of black is going up. Okay? So I'm going up, still going up. Okay? If I go down, then the tip of the black is going down. Now we have the darks. The darks are actually a bigger range. So you see, when I go up, this range is going up. When I go down, this range is going down. Same for shadows. Shadows is a bigger range. So this range is going up and this range is going down. We're gonna do the same with light. I go up with light, so all this range is going up and all this range is going down. Same with highlights. So you know the song. All this range is going up and all this range is going down. And then I can do it with specular lights. Specular lights is only this section. So I can go up, or this section, sorry, and I can go down. This is very useful because you can really section what you want to affect in your image. What is really interesting with the HDR wheels is that you can affect the range that you are working in. So for example, the specular light, I'm like, this specular light is actually too wide, because on my image maybe I have like some specular light that affect other component of my image that actually I don't want it to affect. If for example I press the specular light, it's gonna select my specular light here, and then I can just rearrange the range. So for example, I'm gonna be like, oh, I want the 3 last to be the range of my specular light. Okay, so I'm just gonna go like that, and then when I affect this, it will only affect the 3 peaks here. If I go up, it will only affect this section. So if you see, when I move my range, so I can take whatever range I want. When I move my range, of course my graph is changing, but also I have an indicator of the linear luminance curve that is changing, if you see here, which is actually pretty visual. So then I can really measure where I am and how it affects my image in the theory. So now I'm gonna show you how it affects an image. So we're just gonna go back to our clips. So now we are in our clip. So I'm gonna show you how to do it in a clip level. So what we're gonna do is first make our primaries, because anyway, you can't do your primaries only with HDR Wheels because it's too specific. So what we're gonna do is create a parallel node in between my sandwich, because I'm still in DaVinci White Gamut. So and thank you guys, because I think it's Dries that recommended me to name this sandwich the Frenchie CST sandwich. So inside the Frenchie CST sandwich, we're just gonna create a parallel, and up it's gonna be my primaries. Okay, I'm just gonna go to the normal wheels, and so we're just gonna see how the HDR wheels can help us to handle this spilling of light. So already LGG helped us, to handle our lights here, but then maybe I want something a bit more, a bit stronger in terms of highlights. Maybe I want a roll-off that is way more control. So what we're gonna do is going to our HDR wheels here. To see which range the HDR wheels are taking, you're just gonna click the tiny sun and see where you at. So for example, the light is the wider range of the lights, so the brightest part of the image. So you can see that it's taking all this range. The highlights is taking a bit less, and it helps us to target maybe this problem that I have. And the specular lights actually are way more precise, and maybe would be the solution on this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to reduce this window with first specular light. So let's see what it does. We're just gonna go down. So I'm going down with my specular light, and I'm gonna verify all the time how it's doing. So when I disable, it's like that. When I enable, it's like this. So it's taking away a bit of the problem. So let's see if I couple it with some highlights, how it's gonna do it. So we just go down in highlights, and we went quite a long way actually, because it also cleaned all the spill here, if you see. So this is before, this is after. So now I have like something a bit more control, and maybe I'm just gonna try to see if I reduce a bit of light, what's the effect, So I'm just gonna go down, and so if I reduce a bit of light, I'm going to show you. If I reduce a bit of light, this is the effect. So this is just with highlight and specular. and this is just with like some light tone down plus highlight plus specular tone down. So before and after, which is actually pretty nice because I'm having everything controlled. So if I don't use HDR Wheels, it would be like that. If I use HDR Wheels, then I have a bit more detail coming back. So this is an example. So this footage we're gonna do the same. So I'm just gonna go do my primaries really quickly. And so I just go to HDR, okay? Going to HDR, and we're gonna see where are our ranges. So what I see in the image, I have strong highlights going on the face. Strong light, actually, it's quite harsh, and also maybe I want to retrieve these shadows. It's a bit dark here. For example, if like it was something for a commercial that like want to be bright and clean, then like HDR Wheels can really help us to raise just the shadows and just the dark areas to get back a bit more detail. So we're gonna go to right now I'm just gonna take care of the light first, and after the shadows. So we're gonna go to our light and see what's going on. And highlights, if you see, it's not taking a lot, and specular light is not taking that much also. So what we're gonna do is actually I'm just gonna try to take my highlights and go a bit more, you know, so then I have a bit more range. Let's see, because I want to take also his highlights here where he's a bit glowy. Okay, let's go to something actually where I have it like, wow, I can see it like, yeah. So let's see. Okay, so I have like his highlight quite prominent on this frame, and if I take my highlights to see the range, I'm actually in the good range. So now I'm just gonna go down with my highlights to see what's happening. And if I go down, you see that like here, the range that I had got corrected. So this is before, this is after. This is before, this is after. So it corrected here and it corrected here. And I'm trying to see what I can do for this very, very yellow spill of highlights on his face to maybe have it like a bit better in terms of roll off. So I'm just gonna go to specular light and try to find this this shine on his face. And if you see, I can get his shine here, and I'm just gonna go like that, I think. So then all the shines are taken, and so then I'm just gonna go down with my specular light. So if you see, we have the specular light that we used. This is after, so before, after. And I feel like because I'm going down in highlights and there's no color, then it's making this gray color. So what I can do is taking my specular light, going to the colors and making the gloom, this shininess, a bit more skin tone color. So if you see, this was before without the color, this was after having the color. So then like we have it a bit more smooth. Okay, so then I've done this. Now I can take care of my shadows. Let's say my client is watching the footage and saying like, oh, Chloe, it's very dark. So what I'm gonna do is going to see what are my shadows and what are my darks, and what are my blacks, because here I've lost the details of his shirt, and here I've lost the detail of his hair, right? So I'm just gonna use my black, because when I watch the range, it's the range that I feel that makes more sense to raise for the moment. So I'm just gonna raise my black and see how I can go. But if you see, the blacks are only affecting a very small part of the image. Yeah, this is before, this is after. So before, after. Okay, so let's say I've raised too much my blacks. So what we're gonna do, because I can't really access my blacks that well, what we're gonna do is going to darks. The darks, I'm just gonna raise my darks a bit. So it's gonna bring back some more details. So if you see, I have details now in the hair, I have details a bit more here. So if I make you a before and after, so that was before and that was after. Before, after. Amazing, right? And then like, let's say like I feel there's too much shadows. So just for the sake of example, I'm just gonna raise my shadows. And then like we have our guy that have all the details. You know, he has all the details now. I kind of feel like for my test, I would just like go back a bit on the shadows because it's too lifted. But yeah, like this is actually the effect of HDR Wheels. So we went from this to this. So before, after. So it's very useful if you want like to have less contrast, for example, in an image. And also I can just show you on this one, because this one was shot very properly, you know, like that was a very good how you call that, photography for this one. But I feel like there was some highlights on her face that was quite prominent. So we're just gonna do the LGG, and then HDR Wheels, I'm just gonna go there, and now you know, I'm just gonna go to light, because actually I want to affect the roll-off here, and I want to affect the whole image actually. So I don't want something that is too restrained and highlight, for example. And so I'm just gonna go down in my lights. So I just went down a very tiny bit at 0.25, and already the result is very pleasing. So this is before and this is after. So I get back like some detail in the face. So before, after, I get back some detail in the face. Here the speed of light is way more controlled, and her skin also looks a bit better because there's less light hitting her face. So I hope you guys like the tutorial, because I mean this is very useful. And yeah, for the word at the end, I use mostly HDR Wheels for my light spectrum, more than my highlights, my specular, or more than my shadows, my dark and my blacks, because the light is global enough for you to control the roll-off of your highlights, which is pretty pleasing actually. So I mean the use that I would do in my grades would be more this kind of use. So I hope it helped you. I hope that you like the video that I'm coming with. Super grateful for you guys to follow me at 1,000 subscribers. Like we passed the milestone. And yeah, I hope to see you next week. See you.